Hey everybody, it's Jim Johnson. Welcome back to my channel. Really appreciate it. I am the project manager and line editor for the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game and the Captain's Log solo RPG published by Modiphius Entertainment. And this is my, well, it's not really my August project manager update. It's actually the GenCon preview. It's going to be a short video, but I wanted to just talk to you all a little bit right now because I'm so excited that right now at the moment of recording this thing, it is Thursday morning. It's like 12 o'clock, 12:15 in the morning on Thursday morning, and it's day one of GenCon, right? Day one of GenCon 2023. So if you're at GenCon, make sure you go to booth 3053. That's 3053. Go to the Modiphius booth. You can't miss it. It's the big blue and white sign that says Modiphius. We have all kinds of great stuff at the booth for you to check out and enjoy, including, especially, the brand new. Here, let me jump my screen over here. The brand new Captain's Log solo RPG for Star Trek. This is a full 320-odd page book. It's a core rule book all by itself, standalone game. You don't need to know anything about Star Trek Adventures or even Star Trek to check it out. There's 4 cover variants, of course. There's the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine / Voyager, and Discovery. So if you are curious about Star Trek Adventures, and you want a solo RPG or a game that you can play collaboratively with friends, use the random tables in the book to help you tell a story with your friends at the table. Check it out. So that releases today, I guess, Thursday. It'll be available everywhere in book form and also PDF. So if you've been eagerly waiting for the PDF, you can go to our web stores, grab that PDF, and start playing the game right away and enjoying it. So I'm super excited to be talking about Captain's Log, and also at GenCon we'll have Captain's Log, and we'll also have the new Lower Decks campaign guide at the booth for you to buy and enjoy. So definitely go check those out. Of course, please check out all the other Modiphius games as well. Elder Scrolls miniatures game, Fallout miniatures game, Dreams of Machines is getting a big debut at GenCon this year, so check that out. Plus all the other games that we've been playing and creating for the last 10 years or so. All those will be at the booth as well for you to check out and enjoy. So say hi to the staff for me if you're at GenCon, and get into it, have fun. Any questions, of course, drop a comment below, and we'll get into it. So beyond the big releases this week for Lower Decks and for Captain's Log, I just a quick project manager update. I've still got 45 to 50 odd different projects on my plate in varying stages of development and completion, or it's at a paramount with approvals. So I've joked about this over the years, and I'll just remind you, like, in fact, somebody asked me about this the other day. They said, so what, what's coming up for Star Trek Adventures? Should we be planning ahead? And I was like, yes, save your, I always joke about it on the unofficial Facebook group, like, save your Latinum. Like if you can put a little, if you have a game budget, put a little bit aside for Star Trek Adventures, because we've still got stuff coming out this year and next year, especially, that I think is going to really surprise some people, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. But just be prepared, it's coming. And like, especially with Captain's Log, like, we didn't tell anybody about this book until the press release came out 3 weeks ago and was on pre-order at the same time. So expect to be surprised from time to time with Star Trek Adventures, because we have a lot of cool stuff in the works that I'm super passionate about. I mean, I think if you know me by now, I'm super passionate about Star Trek, and I'm super passionate about Star Trek Adventures, and I am really excited for some of the stuff that we're working on, and I can't wait for you to finally see it. But I mean, I say that with all the releases, but it's true, right? Because like, all these books that we're creating, all these products we're creating are toolkits to help you tell amazing Star Trek stories with your friends at your game table, whether it's virtual or physical. And my whole team, the whole STA team, loves this franchise so much, and we want to share that love with you and bring you into it, and bring more people into it, and just tell amazing gaming stories, amazing Star Trek game stories with your friends. Anyway, enough said about that. So anyway, lots of Star Trek Adventures to come. Lots of Star Trek Adventures out now, especially today, Thursday, because Captain's Log and Lower Decks now available in print, in PDF, everywhere. Go get it. blow me away with your sales numbers. You know, I don't like to talk about sales numbers too much, but look, Lower Decks, we released Lower Decks a week early last week. Last Tuesday, we decided to pull it up a week because you know, the pre-orders went out early, so people were already getting the book. So we decided, well, you know, why not just release it a little early? So we pulled the release date back a week. Now fans are getting it from pre-orders. They're ordering it from the stores. They're getting it. You can go buy the PDF by itself now, and it's just exciting. So you know, get into it and have fun with it. So that's that piece of my you know, project manager update. Pretty brief again. And as traditional with my project manager updates, I do run a regular. I have an open Google form where I take Q&A from people who have questions about the game or questions about whatever, and they post it on here, and then I try to do a regular video to go through these questions and answer them to the best of my ability. I got away from that a little bit last year because I was so busy working on other stuff, but also partly because Modiphius started their own Discord server, and I'm on Discord all the time answering questions, and so like the value of this form kind of went away a little bit because like I didn't need it quite so much because I was answering so many questions on either the Facebook group or the subreddit or Discord. But you know, I held on to it. I didn't delete it. I didn't let it go. And in the last project manager update, I thought I had caught up. And at one point, I think I actually said, "Oh, you know what? I've already caught up, so I'm good." But then I went back and looked at the forum, and there's actually 4 new questions here. So I want to take an opportunity to answer these new questions and make sure I'm giving that appropriate service to the fans here. So I'll jump into these questions. But before I do that, I do want to say thank you so much to the fans of Star Trek Adventures and also the fans of this channel. I am gratified and humbled to see how many new subscribers have come onto the channel, how many new people are coming in to look at the videos or asking questions. They're getting engaged on the conversation. I'm super excited to be doing that. So we have some really lively conversations on some of the video chat feeds now. And I'm just excited to see you all here. My subscriber base has doubled in the last month or so, which is unheard of. And like my son is beside himself that his daddy is a YouTuber, which is so cute. Because like he and I, we spend some time watching YouTube videos and channels from time to time on like, you know, Legos and ninjas and fun stuff. And so he's getting an understanding of like YouTubers are a thing, and what their job is to make videos and to entertain people. And when I told him in passing that I had a YouTube channel and I was mostly focused on, you know, Star Trek and writing and RPGs, he just kind of like couldn't comprehend that his daddy was a YouTuber. And it's like, am I really a YouTuber? I don't know. I guess I am, because that's what I'm doing. I'm making content, right? Anyway, so just excited to be here. Thank you so much for all the subscribers. Thank you so much for all your comments. They mean the world to me, because it just gives me another way to interact with the fans and to be excited, and hopefully to get you all excited about this amazing franchise and this amazing property that we're working on, and hopefully you're enjoying the game too. Anyway, so all that being said, I could go on all night about that. Let's just jump into the questions here, shall we? So we got NPS Bob White from Florida. He says, love the game. Hey, you know what? It's a question or a comment. I always appreciate comments like this. I think gratitude is important, and showing appreciation for things that you like is always important too, because the creators, not to sound like a sad sack, but like a lot of times we don't get the praise, right? Because I think, especially with the RPG industry, when you release a product, like the first thing the fans do is tell you where the typos are, or they'll tell you what you got wrong. it's like sure, yeah, we like it, but you know, there's a typo on page 87, or there's a typo on page 197 or something, and it's like, but did you like it? Did you like the tools? Did you like the book? Did you like the art, etc.? So to hear just the fact that you love the game, Bob, really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Always appreciate just, you know, honest positivity with that. So thanks. We'll jump on to the next question here. So this is a Disaster from Charleston, South Carolina. When will we be able to play online with other real-life people? I'm assuming PPLS is peoples. That's pretty much what I'm familiar with. Well, you know, good news, Disaster. Virtual tabletops, Discord, Roll20, play by post, play by thread. The real people are out there online playing the game right now. So hook into your favorite social media channel or social media network, or find an RPG forum out there. Go to the official Modiphius forum. Go to any Star Trek Adventures Discord forum. There are players looking for game masters. There are game masters looking for players. There are players looking for players. So there are people online playing this game right now. There are at least 5 or 6 virtual tabletops that I can think of off the top of my head that all have active Star Trek Adventures games and groups happening and playing, and some of them have actual like official Modiphius modules and stuff that you can buy and hook into. Not that you don't need them, but you could do that. So yeah, there are real life people online right now playing the game, enjoying the game. So I would say reach out to them, and reach out to the different networks. Get on the unofficial Facebook group. The fans will help you find people to link you up and get you playing. So it is out there. We are now in the 21st century. People are gaming online. It's so cool. So in fact, that harkens back to my memories of being on the old Commodore 64. I was a member of, and this is going to date me, but you know, such is life. PlayNet and CompuServe were 2 of the first internet kind of things that you could dial into and chat with people. And PlayNet, I mean, this is so old that our chat rooms, you could have a maximum of 12 people, right? So you could only have 12 people in a chat room at a time. I know this is the dark ages of the internet, but it was amazing and fun for what it was at the time. And so we've had people online playing games of some form for that was 40 years ago. So it's gotten much better now, of course, with the virtual tabletops being able to add graphics and sound effects and all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you find a group that matches your play style and your preferences, and I hope you have an amazing time playing with them. And thanks for your question. Appreciate it. All right, so we'll jump over to question number 3 here. We've got from Chris in New York City. What will you have at GenCon? Demos? Events? Yes, all of them. So at GenCon this year, in fact today, Thursday, we've got the brand new Captain's Log solo RPG. I showed that. Here it is again. You know, the 4 variant covers. We've got the Lower Decks campaign guide available. We've got all the backlist of Star Trek Adventures is going to be there. Everything that's currently in print. You can't buy the PDFs from the booth, but you can certainly dial into the web stores and buy them, or go to your favorite PDF retailer and get them there. There are demos at the booth, and there are events at the booth. I am willing to bet that the GenCon event directory has a bunch of Star Trek Adventures. If I remember right, I think it's sold out. I think the last few GenCons, every time there has been Star Trek Adventures events, they sell out, which is good to hear and encouraging. As far as exact specific events that we're holding there, I'm not sure. I'm not at GenCon this year, unfortunately. Hopefully next year. I'll have to think about whether I can make it or not. But there is Star Trek Adventures at the booth. I know that my co-host on my podcast, Continuing Conversations, my co-host Michael Dismuke, is going to be at GenCon all weekend, working the booth. He would be happy to sign your books. He was the lead writer on Captain's Log. I'm sure he would be thrilled to sign your book, and he would be thrilled if you signed his book. So make sure you sign his book, because that's just a great way for fans to get their recognition as well. So yeah, so hop to the booth again. It's booth 3053. Go to the exhibition hall or whatever, and go check it out. Go have fun. So hopefully that helped you, Chris. And then finally, last question, Captain Hayes in Missouri, USA. Your question is: after getting the rules for ground vehicles in lower decks, my question is, how do vehicles scale in comparison to characters, and how would ground vehicles scale to starships as far as doing damage with weapons? Well, so my team and I talked about this at length, and we haven't done scaling rules in Star Trek, and that's mostly because we're of the opinion, and again, this is just our opinion, it's not canon, it's not Paramount saying this from on high, this is just our perspective. If our perspective doesn't work for the purposes of your game, do what works for you, change it. But from our perspective anyway, and this is not the official stance, this is just our opinion. So, all those disclaimers being said, it is our learned opinion based on the totality that we understand canon and Star Trek, is that any starship weapon is going to essentially vaporize a ground vehicle or a person, whether from orbit or from atmosphere, right? There's just the sheer amount of power that is in the ship's phasers or photon torpedoes would like just annihilate a person or a vehicle. So it's no contest. There's no point in even having scaling rules, because if you are a person on the ground and you're getting hit by a phaser, you're dead. You're vapor. You're not even pink mist. You're just gone. And then going the opposite direction, can a personal weapon hurt a vehicle? Maybe. I mean, this gets into kind of the squishy ground about Star Trek, right? We've seen phasers can vaporize rock when the plot demands it. Could a phaser vaporize, part of a Durasteel plated hull of a APC or something, like a Star Trek version of an APC or something? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe though. I would expect that like ground vehicles have probably like ground vehicle scale weaponry that would be effective against other ground vehicles, and would just utterly annihilate personnel. And then to the next level, a ground vehicle weapon probably would not be powerful enough to impact the hull of a starship that can, oh by the way, withstand the pressures of deep space and micrometeorites and all that stuff that's involved in space. So in our opinion, weapons don't scale from starships to ground vehicles to characters or the other direction, because it just doesn't make sense in a power level sort of way. And that's also probably getting into an area of Star Trek and of gaming where you don't see it on screen, so there's no reason to necessarily have it in your game. Not to say you can't have it in your game, obviously, because I know other game systems have scaling rules between personal and ground vehicles and whatnot. That's just, in my opinion, again, just my opinion, that's kind of getting away from the spirit of Star Trek and kind of the things that make Star Trek Star Trek. It's just different, right? So this is probably not a great answer for your question, but ultimately, I would say, how do vehicles scale in comparison to characters? They don't. For the purposes of our game, they don't. And how do ground vehicles scale to starships? They don't. There's no comparison, because a ground vehicle, even the most powerful cannon on the ground vehicle, isn't gonna hurt a starship. I mean, it might scratch the paint, maybe put a dent in it, maybe a little dent, but nothing meaningful. You'd have to be like looking at like nuclear warheads or something to really start being worried if you're a starship. So and again, emphasis is on, this is our opinion, this is my opinion, this is not canon for the game, this is not canon for Star Trek. You are not going to see, you are probably, I should caveat that, you are probably not going to see any rules from us anytime soon related to scaling starships to ground vehicles to characters or vice versa. It's just not something that occurs in the franchise that I can think of. I mean, there might be one isolated case where, what was it? Nemesis, where Picard and company are in the Argo and they're driving along, they're shooting the blasters at the other bad guy vehicles. It's like, okay, that's fine. And then it's vehicle to vehicle combat, but whatever. That's not really, that's getting tangential to where Star Trek could be best, right? But anyway, long-winded answer here, so I'll stop. Hopefully that helped. If not, my apologies. Feel free to drop a comment down below. Let's talk about it. Let's get more people involved. Let's have a conversation about it, and either come to something that works for everybody, or maybe you just come up with a solution that works for your game, and then share that with us, share it with everybody else, and maybe somebody else will get some ideas from what you're doing. Anyway, so yeah, and Captain Hayes, thanks so much for your question. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you and appreciate your time. So that, I think, is a wrap on my I guess this is a GenCon. This is a GenCon preview / PM update. I think I've done all that, so I'm going to call it good here. I'm going to get this done in less than 20 minutes. So thanks everybody for your time. Thanks, appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Really appreciate I am chuffed, as my UK cohorts would say. I am chuffed at the response. My son is beside himself that I have even one follower, much less 400 of them. So thanks, keep it coming. Any questions? Don't hesitate to reach out. Look forward to more videos here coming real soon. I got my Captain's Log actual play to continue, and I've got a whole bunch of other content to create, because that's what I am now. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a content creator. I'm coming up with all kinds of new ideas. Like the more I do the more I do this show, and then the more I do the podcast with Michael, coming up with all kinds of new ideas that I can start working on here to get it out to you all. And it's just a challenge of finding the time, because of course I'm also working on the game, and I've got a day job, and I've got a family, and I've got, we all have excuses and reasons, but I will do my level best to keep you fed with interesting content, hopefully interesting content anyway. You tell me if it's not interesting, and I'll try to do something different, or I'll quit, depending on how it goes. But anyway, thanks so much for your time, everybody. Really appreciate you. If you're at GenCon, again, hit booth 3053. Go check out all the cool stuff that Modiphius is offering. Talk to the people that work there. Say, give them your thanks, and say, great job on Dreams and Machines, great job on Star Trek, great job on whatever we're working on. We always appreciate the feedback, because we so rarely get out to conventions, right? And it's even with the pandemic still being a thing, it's hard to reach out and get FaceTime with fans. So GenCon's a great way to do it. I wish I was there. Maybe next year I'll get there again. But anyway, all that being said, live long and prosper, everybody. Be safe, be well. We'll talk to you next time. And thanks. See you soon.